Many Americans grow up believing that success is measured by accumulation. Bigger houses, fuller closets, newer gadgets, and endless upgrades are often seen as signs of achievement. Japanese-inspired minimalism challenges this mindset by asking a simple question: do these possessions actually improve daily life? Instead of chasing more, it encourages people to focus on what is useful, meaningful, and genuinely valued. This shift does not require extreme sacrifice or empty rooms. Rather, it promotes a thoughtful relationship with belongings. The result is a lifestyle that feels lighter, more intentional, and easier to maintain over time. A home filled with unnecessary items can create hidden stress that many people do not immediately recognize. Every object requires attention, whether it is cleaning, organizing, storing, or replacing it. Over time, these small responsibilities add up and consume both physical and mental energy. Clutter can also make spaces feel smaller and more chaotic, even when the home itself is large. By reducing excess possessions, people often notice that their surroundings become more peaceful and functional. Daily routines become smoother because there are fewer distractions competing for attention. The home begins to support a calm lifestyle instead of contributing to overwhelm. Owning less is not about living with the bare minimum or denying yourself comfort. The goal is to create room for the things that truly enrich life. When people stop constantly managing excess belongings, they often discover more time, freedom, and mental clarity. They can focus on meaningful experiences, personal growth, family connections, and activities they genuinely enjoy. Financially, buying less can also reduce unnecessary spending and encourage more mindful decisions. Over the long term, this approach creates a sense of balance that many people find deeply satisfying. Simplicity becomes less about what is removed and more about what is gained. One of the most recognizable aspects of Japanese-inspired minimalism is the emphasis on creating spaces that feel calm and purposeful. In many American homes, rooms often serve multiple functions and gradually become filled with furniture, decorations, and miscellaneous items. While each object may seem harmless on its own, together they can create an environment that feels busy and overwhelming. Minimalist design encourages people to evaluate whether every item contributes positively to the space. By keeping only what is necessary and meaningful, a room becomes more open, balanced, and welcoming. The goal is not perfection, but creating an atmosphere that supports peace of mind. An intentional space is designed around how people actually live rather than how they think a room should look. Furniture is chosen for comfort and usefulness, while decorative elements are selected carefully rather than added in excess. Open areas are valued because they provide visual breathing room and make movement throughout the home easier. Natural light, simple color palettes, and organized surfaces help create an environment that feels relaxing instead of demanding. When every item has a designated place, daily routines become more efficient and less stressful. The home begins to function as a place of restoration rather than a source of constant distraction. This simplicity often has a surprisingly positive effect on overall well-being. The benefits of intentional spaces extend far beyond appearance. Research and personal experience alike suggest that people often feel more focused and emotionally balanced in organized environments. A clutter-free room can make it easier to concentrate on work, enjoy conversations, read a book, or simply relax after a long day. Instead of constantly processing visual noise, the mind has more freedom to focus on what matters most. Over time, these small improvements in the home environment can contribute to a greater sense of control and satisfaction. Japanese-inspired minimalism teaches that a peaceful space is not a luxury reserved for a few people. It is something that can be created through thoughtful choices and consistent habits. One of the most valuable lessons from Japanese-inspired minimalism is the idea of prioritizing quality over quantity. In a culture where constant sales, trends, and promotions encourage people to buy more, it is easy to accumulate items that provide only temporary satisfaction. Minimalism encourages a different approach by focusing on durability, usefulness, and long-term value. Instead of filling a home with dozens of inexpensive items, people are encouraged to invest in fewer things that serve their purpose well. This mindset often leads to more thoughtful purchasing decisions and greater appreciation for what is already owned. Over time, possessions become carefully selected tools rather than random collections of clutter. The result is a lifestyle built on intention rather than impulse. Choosing quality also changes the way people care for their belongings. When an item is valued for its craftsmanship, durability, or usefulness, there is a natural tendency to maintain it properly and use it with greater respect. Clothes are worn longer, furniture is cared for more attentively, and household items are repaired rather than immediately replaced. This approach reduces waste and creates a stronger connection between people and the things they own. Instead of constantly searching for the next purchase, individuals learn to appreciate the value of what is already present in their lives. The focus shifts from acquiring more possessions to making the most of the ones that truly matter. This creates both financial and emotional benefits over the long term. For many Americans, adopting this principle can be a powerful way to break free from cycles of unnecessary consumption. Rather than buying multiple versions of the same item, people begin asking whether a purchase will genuinely improve their daily lives. This simple question often prevents impulsive spending and encourages smarter financial habits. A smaller collection of high-quality possessions is usually easier to organize, maintain, and enjoy than a large collection of mediocre ones. Over time, this approach creates a home filled with items that serve a clear purpose and provide lasting value. Japanese-inspired minimalism demonstrates that satisfaction rarely comes from having more. It often comes from choosing better and appreciating what you already have. Modern life is filled with constant distractions competing for attention every day. Notifications, advertisements, social media updates, endless entertainment options, and busy schedules can leave people feeling mentally exhausted. Japanese-inspired minimalism encourages a different way of living by placing purpose at the center of daily decisions. Rather than automatically filling every moment with activity, it promotes being intentional about how time, energy, and attention are used. This approach helps people focus on what truly matters instead of constantly reacting to external demands. By simplifying both physical and mental environments, individuals often discover a greater sense of clarity and control. Life begins to feel less rushed and more meaningful. A purposeful lifestyle starts with recognizing that attention is one of the most valuable resources a person possesses. Just as clutter can overwhelm a room, too many commitments and distractions can overwhelm the mind. Minimalism encourages people to evaluate their habits and determine which activities genuinely contribute to their well-being. This may involve spending less time on mindless scrolling, reducing unnecessary obligations, or creating routines that support personal goals. Small changes can have a significant impact when practiced consistently over time. With fewer distractions pulling them in different directions, people often experience improved focus, better productivity, and a stronger connection to the present moment. Their days become guided by intention rather than habit. Living with purpose also creates opportunities for deeper satisfaction and fulfillment. When people are no longer constantly chasing the next trend, purchase, or source of entertainment, they can invest more energy in meaningful experiences. Relationships become stronger because conversations receive full attention. Hobbies become more enjoyable because they are pursued with genuine interest rather than as a way to escape boredom. Personal goals become easier to achieve because focus is no longer scattered across countless distractions. Over time, this intentional approach can transform not only the home, but also the overall quality of life. Japanese-inspired minimalism reminds us that a meaningful life is often built by removing distractions and making room for what truly deserves our attention. Many people assume that having more options, more possessions, and more opportunities automatically leads to greater freedom. However, Japanese-inspired minimalism suggests that the opposite is often true. The more things people own, the more time, money, and attention those things demand in return. Every purchase brings responsibilities such as maintenance, storage, organization, and eventual replacement. Over time, these obligations can quietly limit personal freedom without being fully noticed. Minimalism offers an alternative by encouraging people to remove unnecessary burdens and focus on what genuinely supports their lives. This process creates space for greater flexibility, peace, and independence. Simplicity allows people to spend less time managing possessions and more time pursuing meaningful experiences. A streamlined home is easier to clean, organize, and maintain, which frees up valuable hours each week. Financially, buying fewer unnecessary items often leads to reduced expenses and increased savings. Emotionally, a simpler lifestyle can reduce the pressure to constantly compare oneself to others or keep up with changing trends. Instead of feeling trapped by endless consumption, individuals gain the freedom to make decisions based on their personal values. This shift creates a sense of empowerment that extends far beyond the physical environment. Life becomes centered on priorities rather than possessions. Perhaps the greatest gift of simplicity is the ability to focus on what truly matters. When distractions, clutter, and excess obligations are reduced, people often gain a clearer understanding of their goals and values. They become more present during everyday moments and more appreciative of what they already have. Relationships, health, personal growth, and meaningful experiences naturally move to the forefront. Rather than constantly seeking fulfillment through external acquisitions, they learn to find satisfaction in a life that is balanced and intentional. Japanese-inspired minimalism demonstrates that simplicity is not about living with less for the sake of less. It is about creating a life where the most important things have the space they deserve. The secret of Japanese-inspired simplicity is not hidden in strict rules or dramatic lifestyle changes. It begins with small, intentional decisions that help remove unnecessary complexity from everyday life. By owning less, creating purposeful spaces, choosing quality over quantity, reducing distractions, and embracing simplicity, people can build a lifestyle that feels more balanced and fulfilling. These principles are not about perfection or deprivation. They're about making room for what truly adds value to daily life. Even the smallest changes can create noticeable improvements over time. Simplicity grows through consistent choices rather than sudden transformations. In a world that constantly encourages more consumption, more activity, and more distractions, choosing simplicity can feel surprisingly powerful. It allows individuals to step back and evaluate what genuinely deserves their attention, energy, and resources. Rather than being controlled by possessions or endless obligations, they gain the freedom to focus on their priorities. A simpler lifestyle often leads to greater clarity, reduced stress, and a stronger sense of purpose. The goal is not to escape modern life, but to navigate it more intentionally. Through this approach, people can create environments and routines that support their well-being every day. Ultimately, the greatest lesson of Japanese-inspired minimalism is that happiness does not necessarily come from adding more. Often it comes from removing what no longer serves a meaningful purpose. When unnecessary clutter, distractions, and excess commitments are reduced, the things that truly matter become easier to see and appreciate. Relationships become richer, experiences become more memorable, and everyday moments become more enjoyable. Simplicity creates space for gratitude, focus, and personal growth. By embracing this mindset, anyone can begin building a life that feels lighter, calmer, and more aligned with what matters most.